In this video, it's iPad Air versus iPad 4. Alright guys, so the iPad Air goes for $5.98 in Australia and $4.99 in the US. And if you're in the US, you can buy the iPad Air on Amazon using the link below to support the channel. Alright guys, so in this video, I'm going to compare the new iPad Air on the left here in white to the iPad 4 on the right. So I've done a fair few videos on the iPad Air already. You can check them out on my channel, of course, youtube.com/iTechEverything. Anyway, so let's start off with the comparison. So first, we're going to compare design. As you can see on the iPad Air here on the left, the bezels have been reduced, as well as the top and bottom just a little bit. So to demonstrate this, we'll go ahead and stack them on top of each other. There you can see just how much they've shrunk off the iPad. Also, taking a look at thickness, as you can see, the iPad Air is slimmer than the iPad 4. Talking about weight, the iPad Air is 469 grams, whereas the iPad 4 is 652, and the iPad Air feels a lot lighter in the hand. Looking at the back of both iPads, you can see the iPad Air has been significantly flattened out, and the old iPad 4 is a lot rounder, as you can see. Also, looking on the bottom there, you can see the iPad Air has stereo speakers. Right there, we actually have stereo speakers, which is a great improvement. And the iPad 4 simply has one mono speaker. Also on the iPad 4, there's only one microphone on the back there. Whereas on the iPad Air, we have dual microphones. We have one up top and one just below it there on the back, which gives you better audio quality. Also, as you can see, the ring around the camera button is a lot more chromy on the iPad 4 and a lot more dull or matte on the iPad Air. And talking about cameras, we have 1.3 megapixel cameras on the front of each device, both 720p, both the exact same camera. On the back of each device, we have the exact same 5 megapixel shooter with 1080p video. The camera received no update with the iPad Air. They are both the exact same camera, no updates to either camera. And for me, the nicest improvement in the buttons department, on the old iPad 4 we have these cheap looking plastic single button for the volume and just a black plastic button for the rotation lock. And on the iPad Air we have nice separated volume down and up buttons, nice silver look to them, feel high quality, and a nice silver rotation lock switch. As for screens, they both have the same beautiful Retina display. So the iPad Air is lighter and looks better, but does it perform better? Let's find out. So first I'm going to show you that all the apps are closed. As you can see there, no apps are running on either device. And first thing we'll do is launch Geekbench 3. And I did a separate Geekbench test on the iPad Air if you want to check it out on my channel, youtube.com/iTechEverything. Alright, so as you can see, they're both running iOS 7.0.3. The iPad Air is an ARM 1.39 GHz processor, and the processor on the iPad 4 is an A6X 1.4 GHz. And as you guys know, this is running the A7, this is running the A6X. And as you can see, they both have a gig of RAM. Both have a gig of RAM, so no RAM improvement on this model. So let's go ahead and run processor benchmark in real time and we'll see which one finishes first. So the iPad Air has finished. And there we go, the iPad 4 has finally finished. And as you can see, there's a big difference here. On the iPad Air, we have single core performance of 1,483 and multi-core score of 2,697. Over on the iPad 4, we have a single core score of 783 and a multi-core score of 1,431. So if we're just comparing the multi-core scores here, 2,697 on the iPad Air versus 1,431 on the iPad 4. So Apple say 2 times faster. It's pretty accurate. It's basically 2 times faster in terms of the raw power in each iPad. So if you're doing processor intensive things, it's looking like the iPad Air is going to be a nice upgrade for you. So as you can see, the iPad Air is packing a lot more raw horsepower than the iPad 4. Now it's time to put that to test. So as you can see, I've cleared out all the apps on each device, and we'll go ahead and launch Infinity Blade 3, a really graphics intensive app, on 3, 2, 1.
This world was broken, screaming for salvation. Into fire, blood, and treachery, you were born. My majestic blade. This world was broken.
So the iPad Air is well ahead at the moment.
Fire, blood, and treachery came. Caressed the throne. Do you listen to yourself?
So it's finished loading over on the iPad Air.
You really are something special.
And now I'm in gameplay. And it's finished loading on the iPad 4. So there you go. The point in all that was basically to show you that the iPad Air loaded it faster, therefore putting its horsepower to good use. So we've got the Apple Store loaded on each device. Let's go ahead and zoom into that. Okay, so we'll go down, scroll, and we'll zoom into the iPhone. The iPad went clear a little faster than the iPad 4. Although I think overall web browsing will be pretty similar on each device, as that's not particularly processor taxing. Alright guys, so our last test will be on the speakers. As I mentioned, the iPad Air has stereo speakers, whereas the iPad 4 has one mono speaker. So let's go ahead and load up. So we've got the Monster here, Eminem's latest song. Go ahead and put the volume on full.
I wanted the fame, but not the cover of Newsweek. Oh well, guess beggars can't be choosy. Wanted to receive attention from my music. Wanted to be left alone.
Alright, so I've got the iPad here on full volume.
I wanted the fame, but not the cover of Newsweek. Oh well, guess beggars can't be choosy. Wanted to receive attention from my music.
So there you go, the iPad Air definitely sounds stereo. That's basically how I can put it. They both seem to get roughly as loud as each other, but you can tell the iPad Air has stereo speakers, it just sounds more stereo. I wouldn't say the iPad 4 sounds bad though, to be honest. They both sound not bad at all. So that's it guys. This has been the iPad Air versus the iPad 4. Once again, the iPad Air goes for $598 here in Australia, $499 in America, and you can buy it on Amazon using the link below to support me, iTechEverything. Go ahead and click subscribe right above, drop a comment down below, give this video a thumbs up as I really appreciate it. Share the video with your friends if they're considering upgrading their iPad. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.